All right. Well, welcome back, everybody, to Talk 122 with your superintendent, Dr. Terrell Yarbrough. We got another exciting episode here to kind of almost at the end of the school year. This is our last week of school, and before we officially, depart for the summer. And I have another special guest here who I think needs no introduction, Mr. Tommy Meeks. Been trying to get you on for quite some time now, and there was I forget what year it was, but Mr. Harris and I were able to pay you a visit, and you were able to interview us a little bit. So now the tables have turned just a little, but I'm excited to have you here and to talk a little bit about Juneteenth and the upcoming festivities. And before we start, if you want to just kind of tell the audience a little bit about you, your background, and a little bit about even because you've had kids that have come through the Harlem district as well, and so the years that you even have been here, I think would be beneficial. So yeah, if you want to talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, Evelyn, my wife, is a school board member.
Okay.
And we moved out here in the kind of late '80s.
Okay.
All my kids went to Harlem and graduated.
Okay.
They were cheerleaders and basketball players and all that. Mm-hmm. And myself, born and raised in Rockford, went to Auburn High School. Okay. Played football for Eastern Illinois University for 4 years and graduated from Eastern. And came back to Rockford and bounced around as a substitute teacher for years, couldn't get a permanent job. And I latched on with FedEx. Okay. And stayed there for 25 years and retired in 2009.
Oh, man, that's yeah. Well, I mean, if you ever want to come back and sub here, I'm just saying, I mean, we still, going into next year. But yeah, no, that's good.
I'm running, what I do now, I run mentoring programs for guys that are on probation for Winnebago County and Stevenson County. I do that 1 day a week for each county, and it's rewarding, trying to keep people on the right road, stay out of trouble. Okay. And that's pretty much what I'm doing now.
So when you say the mentoring programs, like what are the adults?
Well, Freeport gives me juveniles and adults.
Okay.
Rockford, I only deal with the adults, Okay. And I can tell you the toughest one are the juveniles. Okay. So I know what you guys deal with in the school system. All right. Hopefully none of the kids here end up in the juvenile detention, but some kids have trouble and they have a hard time dealing with it.
Yeah. But it's good that you have programs like what you have to help kids out. And like we always say, every student has a story, right? Yeah. There's a hole that sometimes is dug, but we hope it's not too big where you can't dig yourself out of it. So yeah.
I used to always tell my kids, sometimes you just got to walk in somebody else's shoes to understand what they're going through. Yeah. I mean, you know what you're going through. Sometimes you got to look at what other people might be going through that you may not know about. Right. And that could help us as a people.
Absolutely. I mean, that what just came to mind when you had said that was just being able to lead with love and to give some grace, right? To give some grace, because you never know what someone is going through.
Well, the best word you just said, I mean, grace is good, but love is the key to solving all our problems in this world. If we just learn to love and forgive one another, we can solve a lot of problems in this world.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well said. So let's talk about some Juneteenth, right? So you have been affiliated with bringing Juneteenth to Rockford for
this year will be 32 years.
32 years.
Yeah.
Wow. So you've been through quite your share of those. And so now where is it located? Where do you have it?
We bounced around through the years, but we settled in at Mississippi Park. Okay. It's a great band shell. It's got seats you can see from all over. Okay. And it's a great facility for the Rockford Park District. Okay.
So as a community member who's looking for something to do, and especially on Juneteenth, tell us a little bit about what can we expect when we go and visit.
This year Juneteenth falls on a Sunday. Okay. So what I decided to do is 2 days of Juneteenth on Saturday, because what I'm doing this year is a little different. We're going to have what I call a Chautauqua, where people kind of talk about issues within the community, nothing political, hopefully. But we just try to talk back and forth and see if we can solve some problems. Okay. My daughter's band, Gina, her name is Gina Meeks, and the band is called Groove Hotel.
I didn't know Gina had a band.
She was singing with about 3 bands at one time.
Oh, man. Yeah. Okay. All right.
And they're going to perform. I have some other local artists that are going to perform. We won't go through all the names.
Okay.
And then we have a princess and a queen competition this year, trying to follow in the footsteps of Young and Hart.
Okay.
You know, because Young and Hart, first 2 African-American queens were me and Evelyn's daughters, Charmaine and Capri. They were the first and only 2 African-American queens for Love's Park. So we decided to do that with Juneteenth this year. Absolutely. And then we're going to end up the whole day with what I call, this is Saturday, a community dance. We're going to play all types of music from the 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s. Okay. You know, you go to a wedding, you got your grandfather dancing with the granddaughter and all that kind of. We want to bring that back. Have a little bit of free food out there for people to enjoy. Okay. And then Sunday, we're starting all over again. We got a church service from 11 to 1 out in the park with Pastor Copeland from New Zion. Okay. And Pastor Alexander from Hope. Hope. I can't think of the name of it. I'm sorry about that.
But I'm sure he's good.
Oh, he's good. He's good. He's going to be good, too.
Okay.
And then we're doing the Black graduation with Tony Turner. He's been doing that lately. And he's getting kids from 8th grade all the way up that's going into 9th grade and the graduates. And then we're going to finish up the day with that community dance like I told you about. Okay. And,
so everybody's welcome.
Well, everybody's welcome. Yep. Well, the Sunday is all gospel. Okay. We're doing all gospel music that day. We have a big talent show. And I've been trying to get gospel people to come out because we're paying $1,000 for first place. Okay. And $500 for second. So if you got a good voice, you should get out there. But it's got to be gospel or some form of inspirational music.
Absolutely.
And we have like 3 bands coming in. Okay. One's from your area. I have a cousin in Milwaukee named Jermaine Rideout. Okay. And he has a band called Soul Serious. Okay. And they're coming in from Milwaukee. We got a local band. Heartland Church changed to Forest City Church, I think it is. Okay. And they had Forest City Church has a nice band. They're going to perform. And then we're going to finish it with a local band called New Royal Travelers. Okay. So we got a whole day. Yeah. We got plaques and awards to give to people.
You're putting some pressure. You're putting some pressure by putting names out there like Sirius and stuff. So that's gonna be something else. Yeah. So absolutely. And so what I meant by when I said all is welcome, as far as you don't have to be a resident of Rockford or Disney Park or in
Juneteenth is for everybody. Okay. And we get a real diverse crowd. I mean, my sponsors are some of the top people around this area that help me put this on every year. Okay. You know.
Okay. And, absolutely.
I like to give away a lot of money. You know, people need money for some reason. I don't know why.
Hey.
But they never turn it down when you give it to them.
Absolutely. I know I won't. So let me ask you this. So obviously there's a lot of great things planned, and it sounds like a wonderful event. Obviously, God willing, I'm going to be there, you know, with my family too. And so for those who may not know about just Juneteenth, you know, and why the celebration, and also too, if you can touch on, it's now a federal holiday.
Federal holiday.
Right? So being on and you having the festivities on Saturday and Sunday and going into now, when it's being observed, on Monday, that's a huge thing.
It really is. When I started doing it, this year, 32 years ago, some people thought I was nuts because they never heard of it. Okay. I grew up not knowing anything about it. I think it's a lot of African Americans that came from the South that never talked about things like Juneteenth. My mother never talked about it. So I found out about it from my aunt. And, it's just the kind of thing that people need to understand. It's something that our country went through, and we came through it. Right. And it wasn't great how we went through it and how we came through it, but everything is getting better over time. If anybody says things are, they're worse than they ever been, they are not telling the truth. We can talk about how bad it's been. This country is doing a lot better to make things better for all people. And I want Juneteenth to be that type of thing where everybody could feel they could come, because there's so many people that played a part in the ending of slavery. And that's what it marks. It marks like if you were in like the East Coast, you would hear about Juneteenth in like May, because the war was over in April 10th.
Okay.
But people in the other parts, and in Galveston, Texas, by the time the news got to them, no TVs, radios, it was June 19th.
Right.
And so they say those were technically the last remaining slaves that found out about it.
Okay.
But it's the kind of day that
Right.
I think should bring people together.
Okay. Yeah, and I believe it does. I mean, just from my experience as a youth in Milwaukee and celebrating Juneteenth,
You guys are huge up there.
and walking around and being able to visit different booths and just seeing just the excitement and culture and I mean, it wasn't just about eating the food.
Yeah,
although that's good.
I know.
But it was the whole experience, and I missed that. Just growing up when we got away from it a little bit, and so I'm glad that there's some things going on here that we can take part in. So that's good.
Well, Milwaukee has always had a huge celebration, and I'm just glad we've been able to sustain it here in Rockford. Our budget is nowhere near as big as Milwaukee, but we managed to give away a lot of money and send people on trips, and things like that. Yeah.
All right. So now you mentioned your wife is a school board member here, right? And she does a excellent job, and she definitely has been here obviously just as long as you have been here, right?
Yeah.
And so and I've said this to a few guests, and I done set you up so maybe you won't get tripped up. When you think of Harlem School District and how long you've been a part of it, and your kids have been through it, and who's your favorite person in the district?
Who's my favorite person in the district?
Yeah, you know a lot of people.
Yeah, I know a lot of people. I had to say this lady I know named Evelyn Meeks.
That was a good setup. So Evelyn, if you watch this, he represented. That's good. I thought I was going to trip you up, but then I tried to save you a little bit, so that's good.
Well, I knew I had to say, if you said my favorite person, I had to have her first.
Absolutely.
But being out here all these years, I've met so many people. I went to Auburn High School, so it was always a battle royal with Harlem and Auburn. I don't care how bad Harlem was, it was a battle royal, And we had some good competition. But moving out here, I'm husky down. I still like the Knights, but I'm husky down.
That's good. It's
and
good to know.
It's the competition out here is great. The athletes, the academics, it's fantastic.
Gotcha. So this will probably, thank you for that. This will probably be one of the final episodes that we have for this year. And so being a longtime resident and having your wife serve on the board, if you want us to reflect on one thing as we go into the summer and start planning for the new school year, as a community, as a district, what advice would that be for us as we're thinking about it?
It's kind of like what I said earlier, walking somebody else's shoes. We have to get to a point in our community here, Chesney Park, Loves Park, to start understanding what other people think. That we don't have to agree with each other all the time, but we can be civil to each other. And I think moving forward, we have issues in the district, we have issues in the state and in the country. But we can only solve them if we learn to work together and take anger out of it and let everybody know how you feel. I've been saying this a lot lately. My truth is my truth. Yours is your truth.
Right.
We got to learn to work with each other, understanding and respecting other people's truths. And then maybe we come together and meet and make things better for the whole society.
Absolutely. And a wise person recently said too that as far as trusting our kids, and knowing as adults we need to work on ourselves, because I think sometimes when we get to being an adult, we think that the learning is over and we learn and we know everything, but if we can just work on ourselves as adults and do exactly what you just said and walk in each other's shoes and just learn to love each other and for our different perspectives, we'll be okay. Yeah.
Respect is huge. You're talking about young people. A girl in Rockford, she's on the Park District Board, Martisha Brown.
Okay.
I don't know if you know her.
The name sounds familiar.
Yeah, she's very successful within Rockford, and other people too. Okay. But she's my program director. She came to me and said, I want to help you with Juneteenth. I was floundering around, even though I've been doing it a long time. I needed high-tech help.
Okay.
And, she's younger than me, but she brought in a team of other young people. And they just really have helped me. And it made me think, there's a lot of us older people that really need to listen to some of these younger people. young people do have great ideas, and they see things the way we don't see them.
Right.
So if we start listening to them, we may not listen to everything, but they really have a way of turning things around because they've seen things that, well, I say we've seen things that they haven't seen.
Right.
And maybe that might be good, that they haven't seen some of the things that we know can go on in society.
Yeah.
And they can move forward and start just living and loving each other, like you said, and having a good time and enjoying life, you know.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Very well said.
Thank you.
All right, so now we've reached the part in the episode where you take a shot on the ESPN goal. I know you were an athlete. I don't know if it was basketball. I think it was football.
Well, I played football. We were pretty good. I was all-state. Basketball, we were 23-3. That's not bad.
Okay. All right.
And I was all-state in track, so
Okay.
those were glory days, though.
Okay. We have a man. I'm forgetting his name right now, but he refs for us. Laker fan like I am. Eli.
Yeah, Eli.
Yeah.
I played against Eli
So you
in
played
high
against
school.
Eli. So
He was a senior when I was a junior.
So hopefully Eli is will watch this because could he hoop? Because he run up and down the court like he could.
Now people look at Eli now.
Uh-huh.
They say, "How could that man play?" But that joker could play some ball. He was short, but
All
he
right.
was good. Harlem
All right.
They had a great basketball program
Yeah.
out here. And Mike Floyd was my favorite one. You probably don't know anything about him.
No.
Anybody from Harlem, they know Mike Floyd.
Okay.
And
Okay.
I remember that guy. I used to love to see him play.
All right. Well, I'm glad I got Eli in here because he's a huge Laker fan too, and so
Yeah, I'm
that's
not
good.
much of a Laker fan.
That's all right. Like you said. I mean, hey, hey, it's okay.
Watch somebody else's shoes. That's
it's
your
all
shoes.
right. It's all right. So we're gonna have you take a shot here. We're gonna see if you can make this basket.
right here?
Yeah. Oh yeah. You
You
got.
mean I got to
Oh yeah. We got to see what you got there.
see? This might be like my last shot I took in high school.
Let's see.
Oh, wait,
yeah.
no.
We gonna edit
Is that a
one.
mulligan? Is that a
Yeah,
mulligan?
yeah. We got.
Okay, whatever that is.
You got to put some. Yeah.
Wait a minute. That looks
You gotta
like my
try.
shot I took.
That
The
look like
last,
your shot in high school.
the
huh?
last shot I took. Yep, that's
hey,
it.
Hey, but you know what? You tried, and that's all we can ask for.
Yeah.
But I
try.
appreciate. Yeah, you keep trying as we go into the
man.
monologue. But I appreciate you being on. Anytime that you would like to revisit some things and want to touch base, it's always a pleasure to talk with you and learn from you.
Well, Comcast is letting me come back, so I'm going to get you back on
Absolutely.
to talk about your experience as a superintendent.
Oh yeah.
And I think you're doing a great job.
I appreciate it. I'm trying. So I'll keep trying. All right. Well, that's another episode of Talk 122 with your superintendent, Dr. Terrell Yarbrough. If this is the last episode for the season, again, it's been an honor, to serve you all this first year. A lot of things, that we worked through, and I think made us stronger, and a lot of work still yet to be done. But like Mr. Meeks said, during this episode, we do it for our kids. Trust our kids, listen to our kids, and I think we'll all be a lot better for that. So, in closing, I am Harlem, you are Harlem, we are Harlem. Take care, everybody.